Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto News, the crypto news channel. Today we will talk about a major announcement that could have an impact on the price of cryptocurrencies. We will also talk about Binance lawsuits. Criminal charges could be brought against Binance in the United States. We will also talk about Ethereum, an update on which is very controversial. It is in connection with UNISWAP. I will also talk to you about other crypto news, a stablecoin which is moving away from the price of $1 and lots of other stuff, so feel free to stay till late. Every day on this channel brings you the best in crypto news. So I invite you to subscribe and activate the bell to not miss the latest crypto news. At the level of the price of cryptocurrencies, we are today slightly down. Bitcoin at less than 1%, $17,000. And Ether at $1,250, less 1.6%. The market as a whole is down. Binance, which is falling more sharply than the majority of crypto, with $276, minus 4%. I will come back to the subject of Binance in a moment, which would explain this more marked drop. Let's start with the major announcement. I told you a major announcement coming this week, and that is the Fed announcement. The U.S. Federal Reserve is going to hike interest rates again. The market expects another 0.5% hike. That is to say that it will drop compared to the last few months. We had reached 0.75%. So if we ever reach 0.75%, it will be catastrophic again. But hey, there is little doubt. I think we'll be fine at 0.5%. Announcement is on Wednesday at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's talk about Ethereum now with a rather controversial update that is coming or who does not want to happen. In fact, it comes to us from UNISWAP, not to offer a update called EIP 1153. It is UNISWAP that pushes this update on the Ethereum network to be able to develop new functionalities. What does EIP 1153 do? It allows you to update the virtual machine that runs all the transactions, to be able to add a notion of RAM, a kind of temporary memory for the time of the transaction, to be able to develop certain functionalities. That's enough complicated, but it's something that is requested by developers, decentralized finance applications, and in particular UNISWAP. They gave an example of several things that they could create, and that's precisely who worried a lot of people. He gives examples of KYC, so identity verification application within a transaction. He gives a lot of other things, but let's say that people are worried about all that. And why is it worrying? Because it adds complexity to the Ethereum virtual machine. We have Adam Cochran, who made a whole thread on the subject. He was then attacked by N. Adams, the creator of Uniswap, and Vitalik, who came after to try to calm things down. He didn't speak directly about this update, nor about Uniswap. He just said thumbs up. In my opinion, we must avoid adding too much complexity to the Ethereum virtual machine. Basically, he says that it is more complicated to remove features from the Ethereum virtual machine than to add them. And that although in some cases there are certain updates that are necessary, there are always, we will say, a risk of overcomplicating the Ethereum virtual machine. But this is one of the biggest risks. It is that on the roadmap Ethereum, it aims to simplify things, and there we are still making things more complex. So we'll see now this update will pass. For now, it is not at all prioritized by the developers, neither for Shanghai. So the next update, which should arrive in March, nor for Cancun. So it's not right away. But we'll see how the community will react on this subject. Now I wanted to talk to you about Binance. Another article from Reuters against Binance. It actually explains to us that the Department of Justice in the United States is discussing. They are a little divided within the department on the fact of initiate criminal proceedings against CZ. We have Quentin Subrain, who gave us a thread on the subject. They want to go and sue them on the regulatory aspect related to money laundering and violations of certain sanctions. I will give my opinion on the subject. Binance at the beginning, they had a rather aggressive policy, in fact, to gain market share. There were levels of KYC which were quite low. Since now it has completely changed, so the verification aspect in identity, but at the beginning they had things which was, let's say, not at the current level of things. Since then, they have built a whole team of research and blockages and anti-money laundering, but I think that this was not necessarily the case at the very beginning of the investigation. Because it began in 2018, so it has been more than 4 years since the investigation began in the United States. There is still nothing that has happened. If they are still seeing what, they will press charges and actually go and sue Binance. A priori, there are many ongoing discussions between Binance and the Department of Justice in the United States, but we do not yet know if there will be an outcome to these discussions. There are many doubts following the case FTX. We know that everyone is freaking out on exchanges, and honestly, if Binance really has a problem, it might bring the whole market down. But I think it will be 5 times worse, 10 times worse than the FTX thing in the market. So we have to be vigilant on the subject, and I hope that things will be clarified very soon by the Ministry of Justice so that it is clearer and there is no longer any doubt on this point. We will now talk about the USDD, the stablecoin launched by Justin Sun, which is DPEG, which is moving away from the price of $1 when it is supposed to be worth $1. This coin looks a lot like Terra Luna UST, over-collateralized with the Tron token and other tokens. And it's not going to scale. I am very, very worried about this token. And we have Justin Sun, who comes from Twitter. We are going to say something that is reminiscent of the Terra affair, where he says we are in the process of deploying more capital. Here's to wait. And that's exactly what Twitter Duquan had just before the Terra Luna completely fell. So watch out USDD. There's stuff going on with algorithmic tokens, and that's something I still doubt. I wanted to finish with the subject of the exchanges, which are in the process of publishing their Merkle tree. It is something which allows users to be able to check their proof of reserves on a Bybit, which has just published its Merkle tree. It is a means of verifying that they have enough money to cover user deposits, and that each user's deposits have been taken into account in Bybit's proof of reserve, so it's always more transparency. It's good that all exchange publish this type of thing, even if it is not perfect. Finally, all the audits that have been published recently by Mazars, there were plenty of criticisms on the subject, but it is already a first step. Let's always hope for more transparency, more audits, more people who go understand that exchanges were also made only to buy and sell cryptos and not necessarily to keep them. I always invite you to keep your cryptos on personal wallets, ledgers, but exchanges are necessary. You cannot easily buy cryptos with dollar or with euros without going through an exchange. Let's talk now about Duquan, who would be in Serbia. Everyone was wondering where he was. There were some who were talking about Dubai, who were talking about lots of other countries. So here we have Coindesk Korea, who tells us that he would be in Serbia. So maybe on the run, and we will soon know if he will face justice or not. There was an international arrest warrant which was published against him, but for the instant it's still suddenly in Serbia. Here's what I had to say today on the best crypto news. As always, feel free to subscribe to like and comment, and I'll tell you tomorrow for the next video.